Hello and welcome to your Wednesday Advanced Training Call. My name is Jared Krebs, and before we bring on our special guests for today, I want to remind you of 10 things to expect when building your USANA business. Number one, there will be ups and downs just like everything. Number two, success or failure is up to you. If you succeed, it's because of you. If you fail, it's because of you, not because of your upline or USANA or the comp plan. Success or failure is up to you. Number three, the goal is for you to become independent and be an independent leader and example for your team. Number four, make your plan on the weekends, do it, review it, and make adjustments. Plan, do, review, and adjust. Number five, it's going to take time. It's going to take 1 year to become competent at the skills to do this. It's going to take 3 years to develop a significant part-time income, 5 years to develop a significant full-time income, and 7 years to become world-class. It can happen faster, but it's still going to take time. Number six, it takes consistent work and hustle. You've got to treat this like a job and do your DMO and prospecting week in and week out. Number seven, you're going to have to grow and get outside of your comfort zone. Number eight, mental toughness is necessary. Number nine, the grass is not greener in other companies. The grass is greener where you water it. And number 10, this is a long-term game. USANA is 27 years strong with over $2.5 billion paid to its associates. It's given me and my wife a full-time income for over a decade, as well as thousands of people around the world. Because it works if you work. And bonus tip, amateurs sell products, but professionals sell the vision. Make sure you're inviting your guests, your prospects to these webinars and share with them that USANA is so much more than just a great product. It's a great community. It's a great personal growth vehicle. It's a great financial opportunity. And few have done it as well as new Leadership Summit qualifiers, Betty Meier and Becky Armstrong. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are so excited that you're here and we want to hear your story. And I just got to say that, you know, working with the two of you over the last several years has been a pleasure and an honor. And for everybody who doesn't know, Becky and Betty are brand new gold directors who in this last year have just not only qualified as new golds, they earned the trip to Cabo San Lucas, they earned the Future Leaders trip to Salt Lake City, and now they just earned this trip, all expense paid, to Banff, Canada, which is just an amazing trip. That is the biggest trip of all the things you can win and earn in USANA. You don't win it, you earn it, and they earned it. And so today we are going to honor them. And Becky and Betty, we want to know your story, especially around this last 6 months. I mean, we want to know like what inspired you to go for all these trips and really focus on your business, and what were some of the things you overcame, and you know, any of your story. I mean, you have the floor.
Thank you Becky. So much. Okay, so we kind of just hit a milestone in our business. We've both been in the business for a long time, and everybody does that. Like you turn 30 or you turn 40, and you say, "Is this really what I aimed for? Is this where I thought I would be by now?" And so our girlfriend story just kind of begins with that. We just said, you know, this is our time. We should be doing this now. And time is sneaky. It's going to pass either way. And you can hope for better finances or a better life or better relationships. And sometimes time, it just happens with time. But most of the time, people get stuck. They repeat ineffective patterns, and they just don't go where they want to get. And so we got gritty. We said we want to be grateful, resourceful, intentional, and tenacious. And that's what got the trips that we won. That's what helped the rank advance, helped move our team forward. And but let's start with the backstory. Betty, you've been with USANA for a long time.
Yeah, I've been with USANA, probably 15, 20 years. It's been a long time. And before I started in USANA, we were really, really poor. I mean, at the point I started, I had borrowed money from my brother-in-law to pay my bills. And I took some of that money and started USANA. I started for many reasons. The health of my father was not good, and my husband was working so many hours, and I wanted to have a way that he could choose to work. Not that he wouldn't have to work, but he could choose, do I want to or do I not? And not be forced to have to work. So about the time we really started building, Becky joined with me. Our dad was really, really sick.
Yeah.
And Becky had to make some choices.
Yeah, I was working a job where I was tied to a desk. Here, my dad was dying in Utah. I lived in North Carolina, and I had 2 weeks vacation. And so all my vacations were spent at his bedside. And there was not enough days. I couldn't be there when I wanted to be there. In fact, when he died, I had to make the decision, you know, we knew he was going. Do I fly out now and get to say goodbye in person, or do I say goodbye on the phone and go later so that I have more time to spend with mom and to help her get through? So it was a really hard time. In addition to that, my finances when I started were a mess. People don't make change usually when they're in good shape, when they're comfortable, when they're happy. You make changes because you have to. The pain gets worse than the pain of change. And at that time, my finances were a mess. I was facing foreclosure and bankruptcy. Just after I started USANA, I lost my job. I got fired from my job. And, you know, so my backstory, it was a lot of pain. And you talked about, you know, Jared, you said, let's go back about 6 months. We'll actually go about a year. About a year ago, Betty found a book on being grateful, and that being grateful can change your life. And so she brought it to me and she said, let's do this. And we realized that 90% of the problem can't be solved because 90% of the problem is just being aware that it exists. And grateful is the first step of that. If you are grateful for the little things, the little wins, you will make more wins and bigger wins. So Betty, tell me how your life is different now than it was from that painful beginning with USANA.
Well, now I can pretty much do whatever I want. I'm not worried. Do I go to dinner tonight? Can we go out to dinner? Do we have enough money? I call my grandkids and 20 of us go to dinner. You know, we went out and bought a new vehicle. I bought a 12 passenger van just so I could take my grandkids to Disneyland. You know, things are different. We travel a lot. We spend a lot of time with the family. That's my heartfelt, is doing things with my family.
That's really good. Yeah, me too. I mean, I cannot believe the life. I am so grateful for the life that I have now, and it is so different. Where there were times, I remember when I would just actually have an extra $20 bill in my purse and I would carry it around, and I would just be like, oh my gosh, after bills, I have $20. I can spend it on anything I want. And I'd like carry it in my purse for a month because I didn't want to spend it rashly, you know. And now, yesterday, the insurance lady called me and she wanted, and I usually budget well ahead and have it ready, but she called me and I had forgotten that my insurance bill was due, and I had to pay like $1,200, and I just handed her my debit card and said, here you go, run it. There's plenty of money in the account. Normally that would have devastated me back then. My life is so different, and the trips and the freedom, love all that, love all that. So let's see, what was our grit? Grateful, resourceful. So being resourceful, those are resources that we have now that we didn't have. And right now, everybody wants what we have, and everybody has. We've been where everybody else is, and I don't mean to say this arrogantly. I don't feel it arrogantly at all. I'm really grateful, but we are the most obese, addicted, medicated, in debt people in U.S. history, and things are really rough right now for a lot of people. But now, just like Betty and I decided, now is the time, the best time, to be resourceful, to make changes, and to help people. And that's really what we wanted to do. And you can make little changes. You usually don't go from 0 to 1. It's going to take you some time, like Jared says. If you want to make changes in your health, you might start by taking supplements and start there. Maybe Christian quit putting coffee and cream, sugar and cream in his coffee, and started drinking his coffee black. In doing that, he started losing weight. And over the months of COVID, while everybody else was gaining, he actually has lost 25 pounds. And just last week, hit his goal weight. He got resourceful. What about you, Betty? What have we've seen our team get resourceful, and that's been part of our run with Sherry.
Yeah. This has been the best. This has been the best part of building like this, is our team is jumping in, and it's exciting. Sherry's gone platinum. She's rank advanced, two rank advancements.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
and because she did that, it boosted Christian, who jumped in, and he rank advanced. And you're just watching this momentum, and it's exciting. It's something that, without building your team, that's something you just miss out on. This is the most exciting part of the whole thing, is watching others grow.
Yes. Yes. And that's our intentional part is, we love travel. Betty and I mean, you give me a reason to jump on a plane, I'm on. But it's so funny, as we were planning and setting our goals for this team, it wasn't the trip itself. We didn't even care where we go. We were like, because we were right on the cusp. It's like, we might go to Jamaica, we might go to Banff. That didn't matter. In fact, I don't really know very much about Banff. If any of you have been there, tell us what we need to expect and what we need to do.
Not only do we want to know that because we're going as a group, but we want to stay a little bit longer and enjoy Banff. So give us ideas what to do.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Freedom. But the really driving force was the people that are going to be there. There's like, I don't know the current numbers. I should have looked them up. In 2017, I remember hearing there were 38,000 active USANA associates in the United States. And there were only about 100 associates that earned this trip, which means we will be part of the 0.2% of people that have taken the effort and made the momentum to earn this trip. And those are the people I want to surround myself with. I want to learn from them, I want to be with them, and I want to bring that home to my team.
Yeah, that's the exciting part for me too, is getting to know these people that are actively building their business, learn from them, see what's going on. Right now we have leadership that is great. They're taking us where we need to go. But there's always more. You always want to keep learning and getting mentorship and different things. So we're open for that. And that's exciting to know that we're going to be on this trip with people that are really, really working their business.
And that excitement, like I said, you don't make change usually when you're comfortable, when you're content. If you want to change, there's either got to be discomfort or there's got to be energy and excitement. And that's why the events are so important, because you go and you make emotional decisions. You usually don't make life changes without strong emotion. And that was our intent. And tenacity. Tenacity is the last thing that we've really worked on through this run. People try to discourage you, whether you are in your first year or whether you're on a big run.
The book we're reading right now talks about that.
Yes. The First Year of Network Marketing by Mark and Renee Yanel. They said, they started out their book, their introduction talks about survival. Survival is just lasting long enough to live. It's just outweighing the obstacles, getting past them, living long enough to find success. And in network marketing, that is actually the key. That is the key.
Yeah, they say if you are in network marketing for 10 years and you're consistently building, you're going to succeed, because you're stepping forward, you're doing a little bit more, and eventually you're going to build that business. And something that kind of that when we were building to Silver Director, we were running our butts off. That first $1,000 check, oh my gollies, that was hard. And yeah, and now when we went to Gold, yes, we had to do 4,000 right in a row, but it didn't quite seem as hard as the first 1,000. It just progressively got easier and easier because we were making the steps in that direction.
But it was the same process. You only make money by moving product, by serving people.
Exactly.
The thing is, we had more experience at moving product and serving people, and we had a stronger team. And it just happened and built. Yeah, it was so much easier the second. It's still hard. Oh my! And when we got done, oh my goodness, we got done, and And that 4 weeks and we hit gold. And then Jared says, let's talk about Banff. And we're looking at, we have to now earn, but we were halfway there. So we had to go, we had to finish the run, but we had to earn another, basically do another gold run, another 38,000 CVP, another commission value points in the next 9 weeks we had now. And I wasn't ready at first. At first I was like, but I knew I would say yes. Betty always makes me say yes.
We're a good
She's
team.
tenacious. Yes. Yeah.
So,
So the thing is, you will be the same person you are 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You're going to have a gamble of a life, except for the people you spend time with, the books you read, and the places you place your attention to. You know, just tell you, get gritty. And that's what we have experienced with this Banff run. Just a lot of grit.
a lot of grit. So there's kind of our story of how we got to Banff.
I love it. I love it. You know, the things that stood out to me, what you've said so far, you're reading that book, Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. I want to recommend everybody watching to go look that book up. That's one of your assignments today, is to go on Amazon and look that book up, Your First Year in Network Marketing, because it gives you the perspective of, like, it talked about lasting, right? And like building your business for 10 years, like actually working it though. You can't take a year off. You can't, you know, do 5 years and then take 2 years off. You know, like you've got to work it like you would a part-time job for 10 years. And then when you build that type of business, you've got a real business, right? And of course, there's going to be a foundation there. There's going to be a level of skill that's been earned, a level of skill that's been, you say you paid the price for, you know, and of course your income matches your leadership and your skill and your ability to communicate and give back. And I've just watched the two of you really invest in yourselves, you know, invest in your skill, invest in your consistency, invest in your mindset. I love how you're prepared. Like you're always prepared. Whenever we bring you on like one of these calls, y'all have thought it through, y'all have talked it over, y'all have a little plan. Becky goes first, Betty goes second, like all that. You have an outline, like that's professional, you know? And so thank you for modeling how to run a business, right? And y'all both run businesses outside of USANA, so you know. And it's great that you are able to bring that mentality into your USANA business. So I do want to open it up for questions for the last 10 minutes. I know we have a lot of people on Zoom and then others watching on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook Live, type in your question in the chat and I will ask it for you from my phone. But those of you who are watching live, go ahead and type in your questions. This is your chance to talk to Leadership Summit qualifiers who, again, I mean, this is the biggest trip you can win in USANA. There's no bigger one right now. So yeah, I mean, this is like, ask your questions, type them in, let's get some high value. So while the questions are coming in, I just want to share I want to ask you both, what is like, I guess, what is some of the things that you love about your business right now? And what are some of the things that you're doing to grow it from this point?
Well, I am really excited with being able to market. We're working with the Facebook, building on Facebook, and I'm really excited to build new friends. To me, that is a challenge. Becky is the friendly one. For me, this is really a stretch to build new friends and to have that relationship, but I am really excited to do that.
Awesome. And what about you, Becky?
You know, the coolest thing for me is I really started this business for the business. I knew the products were good. I knew the company was solid. It's publicly traded and gone through the pharmaceutical qualifications. You know, it's such a good company. But I actually had a hard time picking out my first product pack because I really didn't care about nutrition. I just knew it was a good product and a good model and a good company and a good business opportunity. That has flipped for me, and I love the products. I take the supplements. I I love the fact that I am not powerless when it comes to my immune system, that there are things I can do to make my sleep more effective. And now things even I can do, I put on some of the calming stress balm before I started this call because I wanted to have the presence to be able to deliver encouragement that we had set out to do and not let my stresses and my fears bother me. So I love the products, and I even if I couldn't make money at them, I think I would still use the products. I love that I can make money at something I love, and that I can win trips, and that I can be with people.
Absolutely. Yeah, isn't it funny how it switches? So you start for the money, and then the products like totally change your whole body and financial, physiological self, and that kind of also keeps you propelled into the business because you feel so good. I can speak to that as well. And I got my stress balm here somewhere too. All right, so our first question comes from Randy Krebs, Gold Director. He asks, what were some of the challenges you faced on earning the Banff trip, and how did you overcome these challenges? And what were some of the surprising things that you came up with, like strategy-wise, while going for Banff?
Go ahead,
So
Becky.
we had talked to one of our mentors and said, this is what we want to do, and we're going to go with this. And he's very, very well respected in the industry. Jared had hooked us up with this opportunity, and he told us, don't do it. You're crazy. You're not ready. Don't do this. And that was scary. That was that was at the onset of it all. And we had to evaluate his opinion and decide what we were going to do with that.
And we did step back and really think about it. Are we ready? Can we do this? And then we called Jared and said, can we do this?
Yeah, I remember all of that. And, we looked at the numbers and we said, okay, this is your best case scenario. This is your worst case scenario. This is how much it would cost if you needed to buy volume to finish a certain week. Are you willing to do that if you need to? And I didn't have you guys answer right away. I said, think about it. Of course, you're going to take action. You're going to go for it each week as well. And just have that in your mind. And the cool thing that I noticed is that many of the weeks y'all generated the business with real business and was able to self-fund the whole thing. And that's, obviously what you want, right? But we had to really look at the numbers. And I remember spending that time, but it's I think when y'all made that decision, that it's okay either way, that's when everything just opened up for you.
Yes.
Yeah, and even came to the point where I was very stressed. I didn't have that stress balm yet, but I was really, really stressed. And last time I got like that, Clay called Viola up and said, Viola, you need to come over here and talk with Betty. She's bottomed out. She needs help. This time we didn't have that support. Becky said, we are now Viola. We are now the Gold Directors. But Clay jumped in and started calling people he knew and said, we need to move some product. Will you help? And
awesome.
it got Clay involved. It got Christian involved. It got Sherry was involved. Our team just jumped in and really everybody helped.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you make that decision, that's when it's galvanizes everybody once the decision has been made. First, you have to decide. And you went through all that. All right, let's go to the next question here. Adriana Perez from San Antonio asks, what were your biggest fears that you had to face, and how did you get through?
Probably whether or not we could do it. And we had a plan when we started out. Oh my goodness, it was so exciting, and it had been working for us, and we were going to supercharge it and employ it, and it kind of didn't work. And so we got into basically our second week of the 13 weeks and had no strategy. And we were like, okay, we could still quit. But we've told everybody, told everybody we're doing this, and I don't want to tell anybody we're not. And I went to bed that night and just devastated, didn't know what the next step would be. And in the morning, I laid there. Jared always talks about doing your meditations, and I stayed in bed an extra hour and just thought about the end point, thought about where I wanted to go, and really visualized that. And in a conversation with Christian, actually, it just clarified, and we realized we are doing buckshot. We need to get focused on one thing and make one product our passion, and push that one thing as far as it will go and see where we could go. And by creating, I called Betty, I said, we're going, we are going. And so we had to do a complete strategy change right in the middle, right in the start of it, and really get narrowly focused.
What was that product?
The health pack.
Health pack.
It's easy to sell. It's 100 points. It's the foundation. Everybody who wants to improve their health, that's the starting point. So
Yes.
if you want to help somebody, it's a place to start.
And were you doing things like, buy 3 health packs, get 1 free, or like things like that to get people, like, what was some of the little strategies you did?
Well, it was also during the time our first responders just being there, and we did a lot of promotion with buy 1 for you, get 1 to give away. So we were saying buy 1, give 1 to somebody who's out there that needs their health to be protected.
Cool.
What they did with it, we don't know. Did they give it away? Did they keep it? We don't know, but that's okay. Their health was important as well.
Now, did you buy the one for the first responder, or did they buy 2?
They bought 1, we bought 1.
Okay, gotcha. So you were doing some buy 1, get 1s, but you're moving 100 points, and you were, I'm sure, structuring it all perfectly, so you got paid the most on all your business centers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So these are great ideas, and that's something that y'all need to know. Sometimes you gotta do some things to move some volume, and especially on a run, you do those things. I've done a lot of those, like buy 3 health packs, get 1 free type things. But I like how you made it about first responders, right? Because now people are saying, well, geez, I buy a product and I help someone else who's really deserving it. So you got to be creative. I know Jelena Flores is on her Future Leaders run. She's got 2 weeks left, and she is now doing Reset. But she's been doing skincare and Dr. Ladd. So it's part of it, right? So very exciting. All right, next question comes from Apple Amy I believe she's in Virginia. She asks, how do you stay consistent and in action?
Jared? Jared.
So we have a weekly coaching call. We do have a weekly coaching call. It's not perfect every single week, but we are getting better at that. But you take it over. Again, yes, I'm here as a springboard, but you do the work. So continue.
So how do we keep consistent?
Part of that is just we show up every Monday at the team calls, and we hear the energy, we hear the excitement. Like I said, you need an infusion of emotion to keep making. It's a daily decision to stay consistent. It'd be nice to say I'm going to be consistent for the rest of the year, but I have to decide every single morning, do I want to play on Facebook, or do I want to, I still get to work on Facebook sometimes. Do I still get to be friends, but do I do it intentionally, or do I just squander my time? It's a decision, and we make that decision based on the fact, during this run for sure, the fact that we had a goal that we had to meet, and we broke it down into real numbers and real activity that we had to accomplish each day.
The one thing that I always struggled with is having, I can't think of the name of it, but when you have something you're working towards, is that your goal?
Having a goal, having a purpose.
Yeah, I never really had a goal. So I always struggled with that. And after we finished this, Becky goes, you know why it was so intense for us? Is we had a goal we were working towards. And I'm like, oh yeah, we did, didn't we? I didn't even know that was what we were doing until after we were done.
Yeah, they say if you set your why, you set your intention of why you're doing this business, that the how becomes evident. And that's what we did. We constantly adapted for the how, but we knew why we were doing this, and we had a reason, and an endpoint set.
That's the best. I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that when your why is big enough, the how's going to change. You know, one week you might be doing a campaign to invite people to a skincare event. One week you might be doing a campaign to invite people to a business presentation. One week you might be doing a campaign to do a skincare sip and scrub. Whatever those things might be changing along the way, your why is what's going to keep you from stopping, right? You're always going to be doing something as you build, and they do change, and it's okay for that to change. All right, so we have two more questions to end. This one comes from Nadine Drillin. I believe she's in Canada. And she asks, was there a moment you thought it wouldn't happen? And how did you overcome those thoughts? By the way, Nadine's on week 2 of her gold run. So
yes. You can do it, Nadine.
Yes. And yes, it is a roller coaster. There's not even just days. There's moments where you're like, I can't do this now. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, okay, let's do this. It's just very emotional and very intense to hit those goals. But what's really funny is once you've hit them, to be able to go back and do it again, you can do it again.
It's funny. It's not even the hard times, the rough times, the no's that get you perplexed. We were making so many sales and trying to organize them and get everything to everybody and do what we had to do, and just figure out the points and figure out how to get it into the hub. I got so overwhelmed by our success that I almost quit. It was like, I can't do this, Betty.
At midnight, still putting numbers in, going, we got to finish this before midnight hits.
Before the cutoff. So yes, there are always reasons. So again, just focus on the end point and know that you're enough. Now is the perfect time to start, and you've got support.
Yeah, you know, a lot of it is about building self-esteem, like believing you can do it. And it's just interesting, right? Like that's what, like, things that come up as adults still, and we have to continue to work on those inner game things. But yeah, there's nothing that will help with your self-esteem like completing a run like this, you know, and like saying, I can do it, and I did it, you know? So it's so beautiful. Okay, let's go to Apple Amy. She asks, what work, tools, events, strategies work best for you, your customers, and team members? And she's in Rockville, Maryland, not far from Becki.
Yes.
So I know that's a big topic, but is there any, like, maybe one tool, event, strategy that stands out the most for you?
I really think we did a lot of different strategies. We were on the sip and scrubs. We were at the doctors. We were doing all the events, but our main focus was the health pack because it was easiest to explain, easiest to get them to commit to and be consistent when they, you know, the bottles are great. When you get it in the little packet, they're more consistent, and they're going to go through and really use the product more consistently. So that's really where our focus went, is to be able to help the people that were taking the product as well.
Perfect.
And for me, the most useful tool was a spreadsheet. Run, because I struggle with numbers. That is my weakness. And so we had a spreadsheet where we could say, what if we do this? What if we do that? And we could see the actual numbers build up and see what our paycheck was going to be, and see where the goal, what we had to do to accomplish the goal. Add another spreadsheet that has everybody's name of anybody I've ever talked to on Facebook or from my phone. And I would just go down that list, and it was methodical, and it was, it helped me not be overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of the people we had to really reach. And as I looked at each name, I didn't just see a sale. I looked at that person and I saw solutions that I hold and that they don't know about unless I talk to them. And so it was just giddy, just working down those numbers, working down those spreadsheets.
I do know that you have some awesome spreadsheets. I have seen you make them and use them. And, you know, I mean, no one's perfectly organized, but like, you know, you make effort to like really look at things and you take the time to develop those. So thank you for being a great example of that for everybody. All right. So I believe that's all of the questions. Oh, Adriana asked, how long have you been in USANA? Sorry, I missed it. So I guess I'll just modify. How long have you been in USANA, like not working the business? And then how long have you been in USANA working the business like you do now? That's probably the better question, but go ahead.
Well, I've been in USANA since 1998, and just going, I had not missed a convention since 1998. I go to the meetings, I learn about the products, I learn about the business. I really didn't start working the business till probably 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I dabbled at it. I gave stuff out, but my follow-up was never there. And so I didn't do it in a way to build the business.
Yeah, well, in 3 to 4 years of working your business hardcore and you hit gold and do that, that's about right. You know, that's about right. So those of you who are building, you know, give it a good solid effort, 3 to 4 years, and see what you can accomplish, you know. But don't stop in year 2 or 3, like, you know, put the 4 years together, right? 4 to 5 years. Go ahead, Becky.
Yeah, same for me. So I started in 2013, right after Dad died. But at the same time, I also started my traditional business. So I have not missed an event. I've gone to every event. I've soaked up knowledge. I've built friendships and connectivity and relationships. Once my title insurance business got a good footing, and it didn't take me, you know, I wasn't up until 3 a.m. programming code in trying to meet those needs, then I could focus more attention on the business. And that's been about 3 to 4 years. Betty and I both just hit it running. And it really happened strongly right after an event. It was Challenge U, when we realized that really the power of what we did. And we looked at each other and said, oh wait, no, Betty was on a cruise that week because of her lifestyle change. But no, we said, we're going silver. We're going to go silver. And it happened 2 weeks later. The same. And then the following year, I wrote on a bulletin board at the event in Washington, D.C. It starts with an E. I can't remember what it was called. And I wrote on the bulletin board, we are going gold in 2019, going gold by 2020. It took us a little bit longer. That's okay. We still did it. And it was the events and the powers.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I will say to everyone watching, that's one of the things that Becky and Betty have always done is go to major events. They've always gone to convention. They always go to GoPro. They always go to whatever thing is there. They always go to Sweet Retreat. So like these are the things that like Elite Performance Summit, Apple Amy said. Good job. So like, you know, think about it. 1998, that's 22 years of like going to events and being more of like a client, but working on yourself and going through your other life scenarios. 2013, that's still like 4 years of being like kind of in just going to the events and not quite connecting on the business. And then there's that decision that gets made at some point. Now, obviously not everybody has that incubation period, but is it worth it to have an incubation period? Yes, because in the incubation period, that's when the roots grow deep. You guys will be in USANA for life because you have those roots. And so that's part of like what you're building here. And that's why you can't be switching from company to company and all this. Like you've got to build your roots and keep going to events, even if you're having a hard year. Okay. 2020 has not been the best year for everybody. Obviously we don't even have events you can go to right now, but like the online events, right? Doing the online conventions, all the GoPro is going to be online. You got to be at GoPro. So all those types of things. And just, it's a great example to everybody, like, and give yourself some grace. You know, sometimes you need an incubation period before you can blossom into this great business person. I mean, my incubation period, you guys want to know, is 10 years. I went Ruby and I stayed at Ruby for like 10 years. But in that time, I developed a real 6-figure income, not like just a title. And then we went to Emerald, and now we're growing towards Diamond. We're in that incubation period again. But who cares? We're happy, we're growing, we're giving, and that's the whole point, right? So I guess, I don't know, and you guys got me talking. So thank you for being on here today, Becky and Betty. I love you so much. We're so proud of you. And of course, we have to give props to my mom and dad, Viola and Randy Krebs. My mom, rest in peace, who used to be USANA as well. And very blessed to have my dad still so involved and working and leading and being an example. And what's your final piece of advice you want to give to everyone to end the call from each of you?
Okay, I gotta start first. Okay, so one thing that was, right now people were concerned with people staying at home. We're not gonna be able to get out and meet people. Turn your problems into advantages. We were able to connect with so many people just for the fact that they were online, they were home, they had time, they had a little more money to spend because they weren't out spending money. Take your challenges and turn them into opportunities.
Love it.
Yeah. And I would just remind you to be gritty, be grateful, be resourceful. Look at the people around you and glean ideas off of them. Be intentional and be tenacious. Just stick with it. And then let us celebrate with you.
That's right. Because we're going to be here and we're going to be cheering you along the way and waving the checkered flag. So be tenacious and turn lemons into lemonade, right? Use your challenges and turn them into your advantages. Beautiful, beautiful way to end. Betty and Becky, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today and sharing your story, your wisdom, your knowledge that you've built over your time. And we're going to unmute the lines and everyone say, thank you, Becky and Betty, and have an awesome day.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Becky and Betty.
Thank you, Becky
Have an
and
awesome
Betty.
day.
Have an awesome day.
We
Thank
love you,
you. We
ladies.
love you guys.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Bye, everyone.